Hi guys, Spurs here and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to review our transfer window. Now the transfer window is shut, but before we crack into it, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button because it's ultimately free to do so and it helps the channel grow. If you like what you're seeing, leave a like and turn the notifications bell on your number one place to Tottenham transfer news and updates and content, daily content 24/7. Get involved in the comments throughout today's video because your opinion matters at this channel. Spurs Talk. But let's crack straight into it. So firstly, rate the transfer window out of 10 for me. I'm going to be honest with you, it's a 9 out of 10 window. Let me know again if you agree or disagree with that. What would you rate it out of 10? Let me know in the comments below. And the reason I'm going to give it a 9 is because for me, yes, we've brought in two really important players, but also getting players out the door. But I want to focus on the players coming in first. Firstly, Timo Werner, right? A player that I see which is no risk, but potentially high reward. At this time of recording, he's played 2 games for Tottenham. He'll be about to play his third against Brentford when you'll see this. And, Man United game, he looked good. Not so much against City, but he still made runs. He just, for me, didn't get the ball. But he's a player whose pace suits the system. One of the things, obviously, he got criticised for at Chelsea was his finishing. But I don't think that'd be a massive issue in this system because it'd be more about creating, getting in the right areas, those key runs. And I think that's something. I'm not saying you can necessarily turn him into a 40 goal, 30, 40 goal season striker, but I think you can work on finishing, being clinical, making the right choice. Also, we got an assist on his debut as well. So I think it's, again, there's no risk at all because if it doesn't work, you just go straight back to Leipzig in the summer. But if it does, we've got a cheap, 17, 18 million buy option, which is a bargain. So I think that he'll be on the left now until Son comes back, and when Son comes back from international duty with Korea Republic, I personally see Werner being used off the bench or to interchange with Richarlison, more likely on the bench. See, in this Tottenham team, you can see it as a good or bad thing, but I think we've got lots of impact players. I look at players like Werner, Johnson, maybe even to an extent Richarlison. I think Solomon, when he's fit, will fall under a similar bracket where they're all impact players, and there's a good and a bad side to that. The good side is they can change a game for you when you want them. Obviously, it depends on the opposition, but they can bring back creativity. We saw City in the FA Cup, they brought in De Bruyne and Doku, and that completely changed the game. They're not necessarily impact players, but they've just got the quality to do that. But the problem we've got now, due to injuries, we've got Johnson, Richarlison, and Werner. 3 players who suit the system, 2 in particular with their pace, and Johnson and Werner. But all 3 of them have been criticised at times for their finishing. We're going to create a lot of chances, so the problem is just finishing them. But I want to focus now on the other player that came in this transfer window. Obviously, Werner's a big one. Fill the gap for Son why he's not here, and obviously you didn't expect to see Werner in Spurs yet. But one, Radu Drogsin, who seemed the biggest signing at the time. But Van der Ven Romero now returned on injury. He's hardly had a sniff, but still, we've got cover in every position. Really, really important signing for me from Genoa. Again, just makes so much sense. That physical presence in the box, which for me, we lack. Really reliable really reliable player. You need reliable cover in every position. I think Drogsin gives you that. In defence, can play left or right side. So yeah, I think personally think that's a good sign. And obviously his agent riled him as well. He was talking like, I can see him playing for Barcelona, Real Madrid. And maybe, but for now we've got a really good player. And I think Drogsin is a player, and we've got plenty of them in the Spurs team where they're way ahead of where they should be in terms of their development. And obviously Drogsin being 21. We got it with Sarr and Doggy where they're a lot further when they should be for that age. And that is an excellent thing. And Drogsin, however long we're able to keep him, it's back up in a very key position. So it's very good. We're obviously Romanian centre back, and he has good recovery pace, good in the air. The only criticism was his passing, because it just hasn't been seen yet how we can suit the system in terms of the cool calmness out for the back, the quick passing. But yeah, in terms of incomings, is solid, right? Got a backup centre back who we needed. Some will say came in too late. Maybe we got it before our first Premier League game in January, so it was good from the club to get Radu Drogsin in. If we get any injuries, we've got Emerson as cover. Is that for me? Emerson could be the cover for right centre back, Drogsin the cover for left centre back. So we've got that cover in pretty much every position. That's why sorry to go a little bit off topic, but a player like Emerson Royale, I was like, for me, that's an absolute key because he can be your backup left back for a doggy. Because I like Ben Davies, obviously he's out with a hamstring injury at the moment, but for me, just can't play that inverted fullback in Andrew's system. It just isn't him, and I'd rather him. I'd rather when Davies is fit be the when we've got a fully fit team. For me, Davies would be the backup for Van der Ven, and Drogsin would be the backup for Romero, and then you can bring Emerson as the backup for a doggy. And also the backup for Porras. We've got that depth in everywhere we look, and this is going to be a key thing. Obviously, we suffer from injuries this season. On top of Europe next season, we've seen lots of teams struggle to be able to cope with that. Your Newcastles, your Brightons, your Man United in particular really struggle to grasp Europe and the Premier League, keep players fit, and ultimately look at someone like Man United. They wouldn't mind not being in Europe if they're flying in the league, but they're not at all, or vice versa. So they've really struggled. Brighton did okay in the league, but they're doing even better in Europe. They would have hoped to be in a stronger position. They're just kind of getting it together a bit now. Before we move on to outgoings, I guess it kind of links. There's two players I want to focus on. First one is Ashley Phillips, who's gone on loan to Plymouth Argyle. He's only played less than half a dozen games already, and you can see from, I know maybe social media, but you can see from their fans' reaction that they know this is the player for the future, and they're just happy to have him for the end of the season. So for me, I look at Phillips, and I'm really, really impressed. Again, at a young age, I think he'd be top talent. And he's also going with Alfie Devine, who you'll be thinking, hang on a minute, he was at Port Vale. Yes, the first half of the season he was on loan at Port Vale. It was going to be to the end of the season, League One club. The club looked at him and going, you're absolutely ripping it up in League One. We're going to give you the step up, a chance to play with, hopefully, a Spurs player you'll be in the team within the future in Ashley Phillips. And Devine looks excellent, got assist on his debut. Devine's already proven that he can cope with the step up to the Championship. So if you look at that for a minute, the future's bright with them two. And again, to go a little bit off topic, you've got Pape Maté and Destiny Doggy who've committed their long-term contracts to 2030. For me, you need to give your head a wobble if you're not looking forward to the future. With your Divines, your Phillips, your Doggies, your Sars, your Felices, your potential Scarlets. And it's really exciting. And Drogsin, young, if he can keep hold of him, that midfield is so strong, for not only now but going forward. So for me, it's great to see the club not just thinking about now, but also thinking long-term. Maybe it's something we've missed in recent years, but we're definitely seeing it now. So that's for me is excellent, and I hope that's why I want Plymouth to do well the second half of the season, get themselves away from the relegation battle, push themselves ideally into that top half of the table, certainly away from danger. And they've got two top players in that. Probably most excited about Ashley Phillips, to be honest with you. At the moment, Devine has proven he can do it in League One and the Championship. Again, if we talk about players ahead of their development schedule, we've got two players right there, in particular, Alfie Devine. So that is excellent. Before we fully move on to outgoings, Antonio Nusa, again, at the time of this recording, Brentford are about to hijack Tottenham's deal for Antonio Nusa. Being honest with you, I don't know a lot about him. A lot of people, you may have had the saying long-term replacement for Son. I can't really tell you whether that would be the case, but you need to start in this period. You go, Son, absolutely fantastic. Bring a lot to the club on and off the pitch, revenue, quality, goals, assists, everything you want. Fans over from South Korea, it's just everything that Levy and the club will rightly want. However, you need to start thinking about a long-term replacement. Antonio Nusa was a name mentioned, but it looks like he's chosen Brentford over Tottenham. It looks like Brentford came in similar offer, and he's gone with Brentford over Tottenham, which I can't blame him for, because from what I'm hearing, and it makes so much sense from what we've all seen, is that he also chose Brentford over Tottenham for the game time, because at Tottenham, with everyone fit, he's not going to get much game time at all. There's no guaranteed game time, because you've got that front three will pretty much be Son. I think fully fit front three for us will be Son, Richarlison, and Kulusevski. And then you leave the likes of Johnson and Werner on the bench. You can't fit Antonio Nusa as well. He's just not going to get the minutes now. He wants to be playing now. So Brentford makes sense. In Spurs, for me, would be too big of a jump from Club Brugge for his development. Again, at just such a long age. So Brentford, for me, makes sense. And I hope he obviously does well there. Some will say, yeah, maybe another player we missed out on, but there's nothing we can do if a player chooses Brentford over us. I think it's the correct move for the player. And obviously a good sign-in by the looks of things for Brentford. But let me know what you think of Antonio Nusa in the comments below. Obviously, I did rate the transfer window 9 out of 10. And being honest with you, the large part of that, if not all, is down to outgoings. I can't state or underestimate the fact how important getting players out the door is in a rebuild and transfer window. We all know January is tough to do business. So for me, to sign Timo Werner, who perfectly suits the system, never thought I'd see Timo Werner in a Spurs shirt for various reasons, is an excellent signing. Drogsin as well. You choosing Spurs over Bayern Munich. It just says for me how convincing the Ange Postecoglou project is. So credit to the board for going into him and paying what I want, and credit to Postecoglou, who I think is the main convincer in this. But yeah, outgoings is a large part of that. We've seen Ivan Perisic basically go on loan to Hajduk Split, go back to Croatia until the end of the season. Then he'll leave in the summer on a free at the end of contract. So we won't see Perisic ever play for Tottenham again. Very sad. I look at Perisic and go, he's a player I wish we'd signed a decade or two earlier. Is what it is. He's producing good moments. My favourite moment, Ivan Perisic in a Spurs shirt, is when he put Van Dijk on the floor at Anfield. I think we ended up getting the point there. That was a class moment, little turn. Nobody puts Van Dijk on the floor, so that's a moment that maybe, let's say, he will remember, but the fans will remember. But no, his crosses and that are excellent. We just got him too late, and obviously he's been unlucky this season, very, very unlucky with this injury. But going back to his own country, it makes sense to retire there or finish his career over there, etc. It makes a lot of sense. And that's we're talking, well, I don't know the exact amount, but around about 185,000 off the books. Eric Dyer, been at the club 10 years. Whatever you think of Eric Dyer, I think he's been a fantastic servant to the club 10 years. He's had his good moments from his debut at West Ham, getting the winner. Really standing out to me. He's had good moments under all managers like Pochettino, Conte, Mourinho. There was all good managers there, in particular for me. Under Pochettino, whether you think he was carried or not by your Alderweireld, your Vertonghen, etc., I still think he'd done well. He'd done well with defensive midfield, maybe carried by Dembele and Eriksen, still good in that midfield. He's very versatile, could play multiple positions. There still was an absolute bargain at the time and now, but he's a player that maybe was at the club too long, and it was definitely the right decision now to move him on. For his sake, for the club's sake, it makes so much sense. And for Bayern Munich, who signed him, it makes sense. They've got a player who can... Because I think they've got an issue with contract with Joshua Kimmich. So if he leaves or he gets injured, they've got a backup for him. Also, they've got a centre-back. And Dyer for me was dependable. He was solid. He just doesn't suit this Ange system, so he had to go. There's the right decision for him to go, I believe, on loan. So no initial fee for him, but there's lots of add-ons, which I do believe that he will get, certainly some of them. So good move for all parties involved, including the player and both clubs. So I wish Eric Dyer all the best at Bayern Munich, as I do with Ivan Perisic at Hajduk Split back in Croatia. Another player getting off the books. Wow. Talk about club servant, Hugo Lloris, who, has left now Tottenham. Again, a player, obviously, fantastic servant, fantastic captain. For me, a club legend, but we're now in safe hands with Vicario, and that for me is a nice feeling. And that's credit to Vicario, just how well Vicario has done. But yeah, Hugo Lloris, fantastic servant. And obviously, I think people forget, his time at Tottenham, because obviously the bad parts last season. I think people forget that. But overall, Hugo Lloris, a fantastic captain, and he'd just be glad for he's left us in safe hands. In Vicario, he'd be very, very happy with that, because he joined Lyon. He joined from Lyon, didn't he, in 2012? So that's an incredible 11 and a half year, 11 and a half years at Spurs. That is honestly incredible. You talk about service. That is service there. And again, a player, wages off the books, isn't going to get the game time. Doesn't suit the system for me. We're playing out the back. 37 years of age. I believe he's joined Los Angeles, I believe, and obviously retired from international football as well. So I wish Hugo all the best. Top keeper. Again, the right decision for him to leave. So that's just some of the players we've got off the books and saved money on. Jed Spence, obviously, another one who I believe was involved in the Drogsin deal. And Spence is one where you go, he looked like a good player, but you've had it from Neil Warnock, you've had it from Daniel Farker at Leeds when they terminated, or no, what's it called? Activated the buyout clause, something like that. They activated where he's now went back at Tottenham, but obviously he's been involved in the deal, so he's going back to Genoa. He's going to Genoa, should I say. But yeah, good player, but attitude problems is what you're hearing from Daniel Farke at Leeds without making it obvious. So it's a shame. But yeah, 9 out of 10 window. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But for me, it's mainly based on outgoings. It'll be a 10 out of 10 for me. Listen, I love Højbjerg and I like Skip as well. But if we move probably Højbjerg because Skip is homegrown. We move Højbjerg out the door. We actually spend the money, which you can't blame Spurs if they don't, because 80 odd million for Conor Gallagher goes a lot. But if we bring someone like Conor Gallagher in who suits the system and get someone out the door like Højbjerg and maybe doesn't suit the system, or Skip, one of them, I think, because we have a lot of midfielders when they're fully fit. Then that for me would be 10 out of 10. But you can't complain. Levy in, Levy out. This has been a good window. Ange Postecoglou has been back for the second transfer window in a row, because in the first transfer window we brought in players like Maddison, Vicario, Van der Ven. Some will say luck, but for me that's just quality recruitment. I was someone who's crying out for David Raya. I hold my hands up. I was completely wrong. Vicario saves some money, immense keeper, and the right attitude you want around the dressing room. So it's been an excellent window for me, but that is it for your little mini Tottenham transfer window review. We'll be back with this in the summer, don't worry. I look forward to every window now, and that for me just shows how far we've come as a club. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, because it also be free to do so and it helps the channel grow. If you like what you're seeing today, smash the like button and turn the notifications bell on, keep you up to date with Tottenham content 24/7. As I said, get involved in the comments. Your opinion matters here at Scarface Spurs Talk, and let's get to 2K. So if you can smash that subscribe button, that'd be massively appreciated. But as we always say,